Thank you, God, for telling us how to do government, to select from among ourselves able men who fear God, who love truth, and hate a bribe. Father God, give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and discernment to choose those candidates and expose those who are not. Amen. Jesus, we know that where your Spirit is, there is liberty. Without you, there is no liberty in America. You are the way, the truth, and the life. We need you, Lord. All glory, honor, and power are yours in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
So we'll stand and do the pledges. First American. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Yeah!
A good healthy yeehaw.
So first at that, we have Daryl Day, who is running for our newly drawn Congressional District 32, which we're included in now. And I've gotten the opportunity to introduce him and speak on his behalf a couple times, and I'm just so excited that he's here. And if y'all don't know him, I know you're gonna love him. So Daryl, you wanna come on up?
Well, thank you all for coming out, caring enough about your community, caring enough about your country to come out instead of staying home and watching the Olympics. Nobody wants to watch the Winter Olympics anyhow, so thanks for coming out. 8 things describe me. I'm a pretty simple guy. Number 1, I'm a Christian. I accepted Christ in my life at the age of 28. Constitutionalist, I'll tell you, right here is the reason I'm running for public office. We need to adhere to this document here, the divinely inspired Constitution. If we don't get back to the Constitution, we are a plastic bag floating in the wind. You know, Russia has a constitution somewhat similar to ours, believe it or not. They don't follow it. Let's follow it. So we've got people in Washington right now. They go up, they put their hand in the Bible, and they swear to uphold this document. And then they don't do it. You know, you wonder why Congress has a 12% approval rate? Because we've all been betrayed. We've seen people that come before you like I am right now, and they say what you want to hear, and then they go to Washington or they go to Austin and they forget about what they said. And I'm a very resolute, solid guy. I stand on the Bible and I stand on the U.S. Constitution. With those 2 things as the foundation, I have a very, very firm foundation. I'm very hard to knock off my moorings. And I tell you, we need more people in Washington that do what they say they're going to do. In fact, one thing that I love about President Trump is he stands behind his campaign promises better than any politician I've ever seen in my lifetime. Promises made, promises kept. I mean, we've seen so many people that make grandiose promises when they're on the campaign trail. They get to Washington and they forget about all that. President Trump has stood behind what he said he was going to do. And I love that about President Trump, and I want to emulate that in being absolutely resolute in going to Washington and doing what I said that I'm going to do. I haven't been recruited by the Washington insiders. I haven't been endorsed by the Washington insiders. I don't want the endorsement of the Washington insiders. We've been endorsed by 50 precinct chairs, people like you, who are in the community, finding out what is really important in our neighborhoods. Those are the people endorsing us. 50 precinct chairs and another 50 conservative activists. And those are the kinds of people that we want on our team, because we're going to listen and we are going to go to Washington and fight for you. Fight for conservative values. Going to stand with President Trump. And I'll tell you, I'm very, very much looking forward to listening to the concerns that you have and in Washington putting that into action. And starting with, number one, we've got to codify the executive orders that President Trump has signed. So far, there's only been one that's actually been put into law, the Lincoln-Riley Act. Congress, get with it. Get with it. President Trump has set out a nice blueprint. Let's get Congress going and codify those things into law. And I'll tell you, Congress needs to step up the pace because President Trump is leaving them in the dust. And I'm going to be somebody in Washington that I'm going to try to pedal as fast as he pedaled, but he goes pretty fast. But that is my intent. So again, Darrell Day, remember when you go to vote, remember it's time for a new day in Congress. Thank you so much for coming out, and
You have time, sir, do you want to take some questions?
I'd love to take questions.
We don't think people have written down the questions, but if you wanna,
Yes, I have.
you have, sorry.
We've got one here if you're.
I just looked at one based on his opening statement, where you said, people are taking an oath on the Bible. We have some people taking an oath on a Quran.
Correct.
Now, that Quran tells them to lie to us. I
Right.
understand why they do that, because they see us as enemies. I don't know why we would be so stupid as to accept it.
We shouldn't allow, and the Quran is completely opposed to the U.S. Constitution, that they're not compatible. You're exactly right. You can't pledge allegiance to the United States and also pledge allegiance to Sharia law. You can't. And I'm glad you brought this up because to me, Islam is not even a religion.
No.
It's a political standpoint because Methodists don't take territory. Catholics don't go pray in the public street blocking traffic to show dominance. It's not a religion. And when you think about them trying to build mosques in Texas counties that have almost no Muslims, what in the world is that? That's not a mosque. That's a forward-looking military outpost to me.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should allow anyone to be sworn in on a Quran, which is absolutely antithetical to the U.S. Constitution. We're a Christian nation, and anybody who's ever heard, separation of church and state, that was a construct that the atheists used to try to keep Christians out of the public square. It's not in the Constitution. All it says is that, the government can't create a national church. But the atheists have used that to try to keep Christians out of the public discussion. And no, not going to be quiet anymore. No.
Yeah, that was a line from the Danbury,
I'm sorry?
that was a line in a letter to the Danbury Baptists,
Right.
and it was meant to keep government out of religion, but not keep religion out of government.
Well said. Well said.
In addition, along those same lines, mosques are being built in Texas counties with no Muslim residents, marking territory like feral cats. Is there any legal remedy? Can one be put in place?
What I think is what we touched on earlier is declaring that Islam is not a religion protected by the Constitution, that it's a political ideology. So I think we need a Supreme Court case, and I think we need to find out, I think we need to declare once and for all, it's not a religion. And then it doesn't have the same protections that other religions do. I mean, real religions do.
Right, perfect, thank you. Another one for you is, what is your view of Rule 44?
Okay. I have no idea what Rule 44 is. I should know this, but educate me.
That's state, right?
It's our censure resolution.
Censure
Oh,
resolution.
So but it can be applied to that, so the
Okay.
question is, do you think a elected official should be able to be spent money by the party against or removed from the ballot so they can't run?
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I just never heard it called that. I should have known that. I don't think the party should be allowed to keep people off the ballot. The people should get to vote. We should have candidates that get to run. Now, should they be censured? And should everyone know that they are not following the Republican Party's precepts? Absolutely. And they should all go down in flames. But Should they be allowed to run? Yes, they should. I don't think the party should be able to keep them off the ballot. I don't think that's constitutional.
What is your stand on ownership of Texas land by enemies of the U.S.?
Boy, I was having such a nice day. Chinese firms or fronts for Chinese firms buying up Texas land next to military complexes, that's nuts. We have to wake the heck up. Excuse my French. We have to wake the heck up and stop allowing the Communist Party to buy up land, and not just Texas, anywhere in the U.S.
Yes.
No, and I don't know why we've allowed it to go on so far, except we have a lot of people in Washington that lack a spine. I don't know how they're able to stand upright because they don't seem to have a spine.
Thank you. We have one back here?
Yes, sir.
I can't write my questions, I shake too much, but is the Islam issue a state issue or a federal issue? Because there's certain states that are outlawing it. Does it need to go both? Is that the way to fix that? I'm not sure how to look at that from a state standpoint or a federal standpoint.
I think that it's a federal issue because Sharia law is completely opposed to the U.S. Constitution. So can Texas be more aggressive in keeping mosques from being built and outlawing Sharia law? Yes, but I do think that it's a federal issue, and I mean we can't let the Muslims take over California, New York, and Illinois. It's a federal issue, and again, to me, it's a constitutional issue.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you all day. Thank you so much. Okay, next we have, Janae Holland for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2.
Hello, everybody.
Crickets already.
Always working.
First off, I want to say thank you to my two clerks that are in the back, Haley and Kiki. And I'm Janae Holland, and I'm running for re-election for my third term. I've been with the county since 1998. I started in records, then I started in dispatch, then I went to records, then I went to sex offender registration. And I spent 22 years there, and now I'm at JP, and I love it. And the one thing I like to work on is the Eighth Amendment by excessive bonds. I try to make that really important, that I don't try to make people suffer more than they should be suffering if they're innocent until proven guilty. So I try to give a fair bond, not a bond that's gonna make them lose everything. But I also like to use bond conditions, that way you have a little more teeth in the game. If they don't do it, then they can come back to jail. And that's one thing that's very important to me. And I have about 280 hours, so with a new judge, you're gonna have to have 0 hours, but I have about 280 hours of training. And I try to get into training at least every 3 or 4 months, because I wanna keep up to speed on as much as I can. And I wanna be the best Janae I can be for the public in Mineola and Golden. All right, anybody have any questions? Thank you. Questions? Sure.
We got some fun.
Why do you think you are the more qualified for this position than your opponent?
I may not be the more qualified, but I like the job, and I'm not afraid to do it. I've been out since 9 o'clock last night. I just came back from Winsboro. I almost had to leave again because I got another call. I'm not afraid to work. I'm not afraid to take care of the precinct.
So,
Do you have a question? I hear. I wanna, if I can say, you may remember me, I was in Mineola as an administrator at the nursing home,
Yes,
Judge
ma'am.
Parker's daughter.
I do.
So I just, if I could, just say a testimony about what Janae is. It's her heart, it's her community. And there was a point where, on her own fruition, we had a resident that was a veteran that had gone home and passed away. And instead of the county paying for the indigent, because he had no resources for his services, she came back to the building, to our facility, and went way above and beyond just to, see about the benefit of this veteran and save the county that money. So that's how mindful she is, and she's just, was very, very, I'll just say that personally, to work with in that position, and, those that were in need around her, she cares that way, and she didn't know I was gonna say that. She's not giving me a tip. She hasn't seen, you haven't even seen me in like 5 years.
But I'm
So,
grateful for that.
anyway, yes, ma'am.
Thank you
What-
so much.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir. Oh, I'm taking notes.
No,
Hey,
fine.
I'm sorry for my ignorance. Explain to me what justice of the peace does. It's a judge, but in comparison to other judges, there's so many levels that I can't keep track of it.
And we have a handout that gives you everything that we do. This is very, very tiny, but these are all the things that we as a JP do.
So
Sir,
you handle criminal, civil, and other law?
yes, sir. Outside of everything.
All claims for
Small claims, debt claims,
death certificates
yes.
and all,
Inquest,
anything they
we
send
go
you.
out, I've been out 5 times in 5 days. We do inquests. We're out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
And how often does small claims court open?
We try to do court at least once a week, because we have certain days that we normally do court on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But we try to make it where it's early enough, so if a person has a job, they don't have to lose their time. We try to normally do it about 8 o'clock, and that way we can get them in and get them out.
Okay,
It's the same with me going to the jail and magistrate. I go to the jail between 5 and 5:30 a.m.
thank
If a
you.
person's in jail and they have a job, we need to try to get them in and get them out. Anything else, sir?
No, I got a lot to learn. Thank you very much.
And you know what? We're gonna give you as much information as we can give you.
That's what scares me.
Phyllis has one.
Yes, ma'am.
So what have you done to open up and open the arms to precinct 2 citizens as far as hours and community outreach?
Well, the kids call me the noodle lady. Because I keep noodles in my car. You want some? They're in the car now. Because I feel that if a person has food in their system, they think. So these babies come by and I know they're hungry because I've been in Mineola all my life. So I know the ones that are struggling financially. I know the ones that are struggling with food. So I have a food pantry outside my office and a food pantry in my office. And you gotta help people. You just can't be cruel. It's not always bam. Sometimes you just gotta say, come here and let me help you. And our hours, we open at 7:30 in the morning. So if you're trying to get to us before you go to work, you have that opportunity. Anything else? Ma'am?
Well, I could give you a list, but you told me no.
Please explain how pro-constitution you are.
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. It's gotta be part of our lives. We gotta live in it. Don't just live in the moment, live in it. Get involved. Make it work.
So good, yes, yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Is that it?
Any other questions?
Anybody else?
I'm Janae's family.
Oh,
We
Lord.
share the same last name until I got married. But I just want to say about her being a hardworking person. I remember when we were kids, she was always the youngest and all of us were older. and we would tell her to stay home. She's too young. Stay home. She would not. She'd follow us. She was the toughest thing. Nobody would pick with her, and if they did, we'd come for them. But she's always been the most energetic person. She cares for everybody. It's been times when I want to meet her for lunch. I live in Longview, and she says, "I can't. I'm working. I can't. I'm on call. I can't." So she works for her county, and she works really hard. And I just want to say I adore her, and she's a good
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. I just like to say, just because Janae's in precinct, is it 2? I'm in precinct 1, and it doesn't mean just because someone's in a different precinct that they will not affect your life, because I was being served some justice by Janae back in 22, and when it says no cruel and unusual punishment, it doesn't just mean the bond, it means the kind words that someone can say in a pivotal moment to change the trajectory of their lives, what she did for me. And what inspires you to be that person, to give that discernment?
Well, I just been raised with this crazy little bitty lady. And if we run the kids down the street, she make us go get that kid and make it right. You know how they used to put the t-shirts on the kids? My mother would bind us with the little string. Well, since you can't get along, become friends. And what does it hurt? What does it hurt? You know, both my parents, they were just awesome. And they gave us the best. And the compassion comes from them. Because I couldn't have just woke up one day and say, I'm going to be compassionate. It comes from them. I remember everybody that came to my mother's house said, you guys were at my mother's house. You left with a bag of something. Everybody left with a bag. It might be some cookies. It might be some chicken nuggets because she loved dinosaur nuggets. You might get some of those. But every time you left the house, you left with something. And you're going to leave with a hug and a kiss. And those are free.
Sounds like you.
What?
Sounds like you.
You know I love kiss and hugs.
And when she passes out noodles.
Yeah.
If it's somebody in the Mineola ISD, the package is one color.
Oh, yeah.
If it's an Alma Golden, it's another color.
Oh,
She's
okay,
not
here it is.
discriminating, she's
That's right.
supporting.
Let me explain that, because you put me on the coals here. Okay, when you live in Mineola, the school color's orange. So the noodles are chicken flavored, the label's orange. You go to Albert, beef is red. Their school color's red. I'm trying to think this thing through. And there's one little lady that you probably can't see her because she's so short. She's in the red
I didn't bring
shirt.
my stool today.
That's my clerk.
So, I understand you talk about precinct 2 and helping out precinct 2 and the community precinct 2, but is that the only community and precinct that you help?
Oh, no, I go everywhere.
Can you give us an example as to how?
So what do you want? Give me the answer. Give me
There you go.
Well, she knows.
See how good your job is?
Well, that's
So like,
just
you got a call the other day of a family in need, and they were not in precinct 2.
Well, don't tell that, because you're not supposed to be tooting your own horn.
I understand your horn, I just
So there's a
asking if
lady
you help out other
on
precincts.
Facebook, because I'm a snooper, and she didn't have any groceries. Well, I sent the lady a message. I said, hey, where do you live? And she told me where she lives, in Quitman. I said, I'm on my way. She says, I'm not at home. I was like, what? I thought you were hungry. So, went ahead and rocked on with some friends, and we figured out that we'll get the groceries to her the next day. So a friend of mine that works in Mineola lived in Quitman. We passed the boxes on to him. He delivered them. So now that family ate. And we threw some pork chops and some sausage in there, because we had it in our freezer. Yeah, so, yes, sir.
Well, I would like to, for the record, know how many tax dollars, you expend on all this massive charity that you do?
0.
Yes, ma'am.
That comes from me.
That's right.
And my 2 clerks. The ramen noodles, sometimes people will do a wedding. If they have a wedding and they say, hey, I'm a veteran, I say, go buy me some noodles. You know, please, will you buy some noodles? And some of them, yes. And it doesn't cost the county a thing. Because I go through my cabinet at home, they go through their cabinet, other people leave boxes or bags on our porch, and we mark the barcodes out so the mother can't go buy some Carol Tarts, some Marlboros with our food. So, yeah, we mark the barcodes out, just so they can't do that. We wanna make sure people eat.
And I just wanna thank you for both your public and private service that you and your staff get.
Yes,
Well,
thank you
well
so much.
appreciated.
Those
Thank
two
you.
girls back there, they keep me going.
Good job.
They're my free entertainment.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be on the ballot. I'm number 1 on the ballot. If you're in precinct 2, Golden and Radio, and I would appreciate your vote. Or if you wanna pass it on to somebody else, we'll see what God has, right?
Do we have any more questions or testimonies on the back? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That was awesome. Great to hear all the testimonies from y'all about the great work that she's doing. So I skipped a couple of things because we got started a little behind schedule. And we've got a few minutes until our next speaker on the schedule. And I just wanted to thank Accountability Matters for this candidate forum, for coordinating this. And you can find more about them at accountabilitymatters.com. They say that right is right, even if everyone is against it, and wrong is wrong, even if everyone is for it. And that's a quote from William Penn. Bill Webster's 1828 American Dictionary of the English Language defines accountability as a state of being liable to answer for one's conduct, liability to give account, and to receive reward or punishment for actions, liability to the payment of money or damages, responsibility of a trust. They also have on their website that public office in Texas and is in the United States is delegated trust from the people. Yes. Accountability Matters. Texas. Excuse me. AccountabilityMattersTexas.com. Thank you, Jim. AccountabilityMattersTexas.com for more information. Sharonda, would you like to come say a few words about Accountability Matters?
I can, but do you want to go ahead and while we have a few minutes, when Sarah
I can go
gets.
for 2:45, but if you go ahead, that's fine.
There we go. We got 9 minutes left, so if you want to go. And if you're done, sir, we'll let you run it. So try and stretch out.
Walk as I try to talk. I'll make it quick. I want to thank everybody for coming to this candidate forum. I felt it was very important that all of the candidates on the candidate ballot this year have a place to speak. And I hate that we didn't have more people who participated, but it's okay. That is their loss, and I don't know what to tell them, but I appreciate everyone who took the time out to come and do a little bit of civic duty and listen to the people and ask them questions. It is the only way we're going to get good candidates in office. And as far as this name recognition that is running so rampant across these United States of candidates be electing because they have the right name or they know the right people, that's gotta stop. If no one notices that we are living in a world that is at that detriment and we all suffer the consequences for it. So if we don't take action and do it now, we're gonna have a rough next 4 years. And the only people it will be to blame will be us. So think about that wisely as you go out and you vote. Check, research, do your own investigation. So. What is his name, Sellers, and he's gonna tell us about a couple of different candidates.
And that was a great intro. Thank you very much. Those of you who don't know me, I'm with
Sellers, I'm on the Antis School Board, and
Knows everything.
I'm basically here because a couple of candidates couldn't be here, and I'm not speaking on their behalf, I'm speaking for them, which is totally different since they can't be here. This is my perspective, but I'm trying to share the message with you for a couple of reasons. One of the points that Sharonda made, which is real important, is endorsements. Endorsements, according to the polling, make anywhere from a single to a double-digit move in a candidacy. The problem with that is too many candidates over and over again just get the endorsement, have the big payrolls, have the big donations, big cash, and we're just walking down that stream. So we've got to do something different. So I'm here to educate you on a couple of candidates that obviously can't be here today because they have busier schedules and they're more places than they can be at one time. The first one's going to be Doc Chambers. Pete Chambers is running for governor. Those of you in this room that have met him, which there are a few I know, he's basically, to summarize his career, he's a 39-year veteran in the Army and was a surgeon, both in combat situations and so forth. He had to take leave from the Army when they mandated the vaccine. And so he's running for governor. He's doing real good in our straw poll votes because of the fact that he is a public servant. He's there to serve us. He's been serving the U.S. Army and us for 39 years of his career, so there's no doubt that he is a true public servant. His plan is he wants to abolish property taxes. Renting personal property from the state until one loses property passes away is unacceptable. There's no way how our founders intended us to live. He doesn't want Texans to be taxed out of their homes, plain and simple. And also to just prop up out of control government spending, which we know we're all susceptible to. So he wants to eliminate that practice in Texas. And the second thing is he wants to secure the border and stop human trafficking. Allowing cartels, human traffickers, and foreign adversaries to exploit our borders is cowardly, unacceptable, and threatens the sovereignty of the founders fought to secure. So he wants to secure the Texas borders. And we know what we've been through, the fight with that for the last several years. Third one is medical freedom and health first. We're decentralizing medicine by dismantling the bureaucratic outreach and empowering individuals, doctors, and communities to pursue their health on their terms. From pre-birth to elder care, we need to prioritize life and liberty and not pharmaceutical agendas. Third one is thank you. And the third one is medical freedom and health first. We will decentralize medicine by dismantling our bureaucratic outreach and empowering individuals, doctors, and communities to pursue health on their terms. From pre-birth to elder care, we prioritize life, liberty, and pharmaceutical agendas. We've got to do better. Fourth one is election integrity. We will secure our elections through transparency, technology audits, local control, and newly formed election integrity task force. Every legal vote must count, nothing more and nothing less. Fifth one is transparency in action. As governor, he'll deliver a daily situation report for the first 90 days. Then weekly after that, to give you updates on the progress of key goals and ensure that people stay informed and involved. It's one of the reasons why I'm here, is for exactly that purpose, to keep you informed and involved. Because without you, the people, we can't represent you, the people. Sixth one is the right to life, from conception to natural death. The Right to Life Task Force will defend unborn, support young families, care for the vulnerable, and oppose all forms of state-sanctioned harm. Life is sacred as always. Seventh one is term limits for career politicians. We support strong term limits to end entrenched power and restore accountability. Elected office should be a season of service and not a path to profit. Eighth is the Texas Doge Task Force. They're launching the Texas Doge Department of Government Efficiency, which you know how well that's uncovered fraud and abuse on the federal level, but we're going to have it on the state level to identify and implement bold reforms that streamline public services, eliminate waste, and restore trust in government. From modern technology to common sense accountability, we're focusing on making these Texas government faster, simpler, and more efficient for the people it serves. I'm not here today to speak for someone that is running, Don Hopkins, for your controller, but those of you that do know Don Hopkins know that as Texas State Senator, he worked without pay during his term, and he sent, depending on how you're going through the legal count, 5 to 6 people to prison for fraud.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
You did not accept anything from lobbyists. That is the most
He
important
didn't
thing to
accept
me.
anything from lobbyists, and that's very important. The same way he didn't take a public salary, because he is a philanthropist, he is a multimillionaire, he's got money, but he is serving the public. And who else do you know that's doing the same exact thing with Trump? Not taking a salary. Yes, sir.
So we only got 2.5.
Okay, that's in the evidence. Basically, that's pretty much what I wanted to tell you for him running. He's got a great website, welcome to look at. His campaign staff will be glad to answer any questions. I'm not authorized to answer any questions on his behalf because I'm here presenting him from my own perspective, just so to make you aware of it. I will tell you, however, that on the straw poll vote that the Wood County Executive Committee took the other day, that he was approved by 80-some-odd% for the office. That's an incredible endorsement from the local grassroots level, and I just want to make sure you check it out to see if you can't support it. So I have one other candidate to support, but I'll wait to take that next. Yes, ma'am?
I just wanted to know if you know, I know you can't.
Speak on his behalf.
Okay, Doc Chambers, what is his outlook on public education?
It's not outlined specifically, but I will tell you exactly what he told me. He wants to dismantle TASB. As a school board member, TASB, Texas Association of School Boards, is an indoctrination process from the beginning to the end. It's forced us into government mandated programs and grant money as the only way we can educate children, and that's just wrong on so many levels, but we're forced to have to do it. And thank you for the question, that's a great question, and I'm telling you that from a school board member perspective, not from this, but he did make the public announcement, so I'm just quoting it, that he would dismantle TASB, and I'm completely in favor of that, and I go have to TASB, continuing education is required of me as a school board member, and I fight with them all the time.
What does TASB say?
Thank you. Yes.
What is TASB? I'm sorry. What is TASB?
Texas Association of School Boards.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, and I try not to use acronyms.
No, thank
I get
you.
excited like everybody else, but, basically, so many people have talked about doing everything else, but it's an open check. And we can't have an open check, and we can't have a government, it's kind of like the Department of Education. It's, the money should push straight down to the states, straight down to the school district, straight down to teaching basics.
Amen.
And not bureaucracy. For every dollar going to a kid, let's send $5 more to Washington. Hell no. Any other questions I can answer? Yeah, I'm gonna speak later on someone running for Department, Texas Department of Education. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I wish I could download his brain. Brilliant. So I wanted to remind you, we have straw poll forums over here. If you want to grab a straw poll form, there's also note cards and pens. If you have any questions, you can write it down there. You don't have to put your name on it, but you can write it down for a question for whatever candidate you want, or if you would like it for all candidates, and turn it up here, and I'll ask it to them if we have enough time. When they're up. Next we have County Commissioner Precinct 4, John Shirley.
That's quick.
Isn't that the truth?
Thank y'all for having me here today.
We'll start you out with 3 minutes for intro and then 2 minutes for questions to answer.
Well, I hope I don't give no question about myself tonight. My name's John Shirley. I'm a lifelong Republican. I've never voted anything but Republican. Proud of it. In my life, I've always voted for what was good for the country, what I thought was good for the people that was for this country. And I will say today, I think the president we've got now is the greatest president that this country's ever had in my lifetime. Maybe, I don't know, I think that, but there it is. I had the privilege of serving this county back in 2011, 2015, and it was an honor to be there. But before I go any further, I want to do this. Yeah, I was told one time as a person that they're always Christians until they get in office. And I'm gonna tell you what, I'm born again believer in Jesus Christ, and He's my Savior, but I'm also a sinner saved by grace. And when I come in here to work for you, I come to serve you. I'm not going in to stand on a throne, sit on a throne in there like I'm some kind of king and look down upon people. I work for you. And when I was in here in 2011, 2015, I was there. I was out on the roads every day. I was learning. I still got a lot to learn on the political side of this office. But I'm gonna tell you what, when I went out there, I served the people of Wood County. And I believe that when a person takes this oath and goes in here, they ought to give their heart. They ought to come in here and do the job that the people voted them in on and do it to the best of their ability. When I was in office, the pipeline was coming through and I drew $709,000 from the Trans-Canada Pipeline for this county. And, where it went, I hope it was used good because I was going after that. I like to say I got trumped. But I'm not a speaker. I'm you know, I wish I could talk like that. The lady that was up here for a while ago for the Justice Peace lady?
Yes.
Oh, man. And I wish I had her personality. The best thing to do is that you, if I get in this office, I've been there, I'll serve you, and I'll be there for you. And if you call, you'll never hear the words is not in my budget come out of my mouth. I've heard that so many times. You know, I can show you roads that I built 12 years ago that today, there's some out here that was built 2 years ago and they won't even hold a candle to what I did. When I was in office, it was brought to my attention that if you have a piece of property you want to put in an addition, housing addition. I can't think of the word for it. Subdivision. That you have to go in, if you want to build a road, you have to go in there and base it out, put down iron or whatever down, and then you top it. And, if you did all the things that the county required, then, and kept it up for 2 years, then the county might adopt it if they seem fit. And when I was sitting there listening to this, I asked this question, I said, how can you ask these people putting in a subdivision to build roads and base them out and do all these things, and you don't do it yourself? You know, I'm gonna tell you, Wood County's got some good roads, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of, they look good, smooth. Some of them. But what we got now, Wood County in the past few years has spent money on laydown machines. And what they're doing is right here, putting Band-Aids on our streets, on our roads out here in Wood County. And that's not, it's costing us more now to do a road than it did 20 years ago because of the changes that was made in the way things are done.
Are you ready for some questions, sir?
No, but I'll.
We have one here. What is your stance on Agenda 2030, also known as Agenda 21, East Texas Council of Government, ETCOG, Sustainable Development Grants, align with the UN, United Nations, and some counties join East Texas Council of Governments, ETCOG, take the grants, etc. Will you?
You got me lost there. On all them. You gotta put it in my language. I'm not for anything that's against what we believe in for what. I'm not for anything that goes against what we believe and what we want for this county. The speaker a while ago, get back into the higher echelons in government. I'm pro-life, I'm pro-Second Amendment, and I'm for these people that's coming into this country trying to take over our country. I'm not for it. I like what Donald Trump's doing, is kicking them out. China, these people don't have no business owning land in this country. And when people try to shove things down on us that we don't believe in, I think we need to fight it with all we got. That's the best way I know how to do it.
What do you believe about mandated vaccines and masks?
I believe the vaccine, I don't believe in mandated vaccine. I believe that people should be able to make their own decisions in what they do in their lives, their families. I don't think somebody should be able to come up and tell me as a parent that your kid's gotta have a vaccine. I didn't take the COVID vaccine. I won't take the COVID vaccine. One thing is, I talked with Carol Taylor earlier today, I said, I'm not a speaker. But one of my biggest, when I was in office, and I'm gonna say it the way I'm glad we're back to paper ballots.
Yes.
And one of my biggest regrets was when I was in office, I voted for the other ones. And there's a story behind it, whether y'all want me to tell you the story, but I voted on it with reservations. But like I said, I'm not a politically minded person. I didn't think, I never even thought about it. I wish the one that called me and chewed me out after this court that day would have come and talked to me sooner. And I wish that our courts, our commissioners' courts would be more transparent in what they do up there. I told him when I was in there before, I said, if 10 people from each precinct would come sit in that courtroom during a commissioner's court, you would see a lot of stuff would be going on because they're wondering why you were there. Yeah. Many times I walked in there and somebody walked in there, who's that? Who's that? It don't make no difference. We're public servants. We're here to serve you, not you to serve us. Into this road.
So part two of that is, would you mandate vax, et cetera, on Wood County citizens? Why or why not? I feel like you answered that, but if you'd like to address that specifically, would you mandate vax?
I don't think, nobody has the right to mandate vaccinations on nobody.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wouldn't.
And finally, I feel like you've answered this one too, but just, will you listen to your constituents?
Yeah.
I have a simple question. It's just in general for commissioners, can it be easier to get on the agenda at the commissioners' courts? You just mentioned about people getting in there. We've tried to get on and have pushed that for resistance. And even like going to get on the agenda, nobody knew where to go to get on the agenda. And the place where we started to get on the agenda ended up, they sent us to like 3 different departments, and the place where we began is the place where we were supposed to get on the agenda initially. Like, how do we get on the agenda, and can that get streamlined and maybe like shown like a process?
The best I can remember, the county judge.
Yeah, well, we started there, but they sent us everywhere, and then we ended up back there.
Well, when I was in the Marine Corps, I got sent one time looking for frequency groups. I was in communications. I walked all over Campbell, North Carolina, looking for frequency groups. There wasn't no such thing.
Right. Well, that's
That's the way it works up there,
You can, as commissioner, you can add to the agenda yourself, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes. I think.
I can what?
As the commissioner, you can add things to the agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Phyllis has a question.
So, no, I don't have a question. I wanna address what you're asking.
Yes.
So you communicate to your commissioner, and what will happen is he will send you to his coordinator. And whether or not he likes what you're talking about, they will put you on. So the best plan of attack is if you watch the agenda, and if you have something specifically that you want addressed, then you make out the comment form. You can get it online and email it to the judge. They have to give it to you, but specify the number of the agenda item that you want to talk to. Otherwise, you will talk 3 minutes at the beginning of commissioner's court and then be shut down by the judge.
I understand that, but our neighbor, she was representing our road and went through the process and was sent through, half her day was completely gone about a bunch of riffraff. And I'm just asking, can we streamline the way and get that publicly on a website on how to do
Who controls that is the judge.
County judge.
The county judge.
Okay, we have another question over here?
Me?
Yes.
I'm a newspaper reporter for 20 years, and Mr. Sherman, I remember you being precinct 4 commissioner at one time, is that correct?
Yes.
At that time, were you over all public facilities, or were you only over the public facilities in precinct 4?
All I know was precinct 4.
So you weren't over like other establishments, whether it was a precinct barn, another precinct,
No.
another office, another precinct. You were only in charge of your precinct,
That's
that
right.
precinct commissioner was over those buildings and their precinct. How do you feel about only one commissioner being over all public facilities?
Well, the only thing that I remember, as far as public facilities was, each precinct has a lake. We had Lake Winsboro. And we took care of the mowing, bathrooms, the stuff.
But like your
down there.
JP office in your precinct, you were over that. Would you be opposed to being over a precinct 3 facility? Whether it's a JP office, a precinct barn, an office, whatever's in that precinct, if it is a building owned by the county, only one commissioner is over all of those buildings as the facility administrator. Do you feel like each commissioner should be over their own precinct buildings, or should one commissioner be delegated to cover all of those facilities?
I think that the commissioners, when they're put into office, they get their areas and you take care of your area. I have the 4s, they have the 2s, they have the 3s and the 1s.
Thank you.
And that commissioner was put in there to take care of that. And we can't go out here and go over here and argue with another commissioner over here about how he's doing his thing. It's just the way it is.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now, I think.
I got a question. I live out kind of where there's a lot of pine trees, and recently they've been cutting a lot of them down. The companies that come out and get contracts have to get a permit, from what I understand, from the county to get on those roads. Doesn't seem like there's anything to hold them accountable for the damage they do on these roads. To me, and I don't know what the way it is or not, and if you get elected, I hope you try to get something like this in place, is when they get a permit, they have to put up a bond that they pay for the damage, because the county commissioner took the word of the company that they didn't do damage, where the neighbors up and down the street all agreed and told him, yes, they did do this damage, and the county and the state wound up having to put money out to pay for the damage they did, so that needs to change.
Well, I argued that for 4 years while I was in there. And the loggers want to catch it more than anybody. I asked one time, where's Pilgrim's permit? And he sort of fell on deaf ears. Pilgrim's was blood. And the loggers are the ones that caught more flack than anybody. But when they went up there to get a permit, it didn't cost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, I said, that they need to put up the money for this permit, and then when they tear it up, then we'll go out there and look at it, and the damages were done, they pay for it. And that's just the way it should be.
Why
It's
didn't
not-
that happen?
Yeah, John, that kind of reminds me of the situation that you had with the pipeline companies. I remember you sent out that billing, actually made a lot of money for the county, and you got some pushback from the court. I also remember you bought a chip settlement machine, which extended the life of roads. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all your attention to precinct 4. What I'm noticing about the current court is that it is very opaque. That they tolerate citizens' comments, they don't welcome negative comments. What I would like from you is a commitment that you will be a voice for open government on that court. I think you were last time. And it's gotten worse, not better. So I would like from you a commitment that, notice that every vote that they take in Commissioner's Court seems to be unanimous. Almost like they met in secret someplace else, who knows? But at any rate, I would just like your commitment to be a voice for open government on that court, because we need that.
I'm for that all the way.
I think that goes back to the, EDCOG, Sustainable Development issues. They train the commissioners, and it's not constitutional. It's, the Agenda 21 and 2030 from the United Nations. So, learning more about that.
Well, I'm
Whoever
okay.
asked that question in here might be.
I went,
I don't wanna interrupt your comments, sir.
well, I was gonna say, I went to these schools, you know, every year we had to go, we went to Austin, we went to Bryan College, taking down there to these schools. And me as a commissioner, I went down there, I went to learn things. Well, when we got down there, it was all state stuff, teaching how to work on highways. And I'll never forget one commissioner, probably about the third year I was in there, stood up and he said, why don't you teach us stuff to work on our roads instead of the state? Got big applause, but it still didn't, you know, it falls on deaf ears. And, Mr. Armstrong, talking about the chip sealing machines. I tried to get another commissioner to go in with me on this. I did a lot of study on chip sealing. A lot of people don't like it because they don't like the road sounds and all that, you know, the noise off the road, but you can hit a rock and it's a little smoother and more silent, you might say, than that. And I ended up doing it on my own. And, broke my budget. And I got some pretty worn out equipment, but we made it work. We made it work. But the thing is, when I lost my election, let me back up. When I went into office, I had nothing. I didn't have gas in my tanks, didn't have no materials to work with. And I mean, I built that place up out there. I was in the construction business. And that's what I do. And when we got these machines to do this stuff, maybe some people didn't like chip seal. I can take you show you some roads I chip sealed 12 years ago, and they're still pretty good shape. Yeah, but some of them, as we started basing them out. And I think when the county builds a road, they ought to base it out. Right now, they got these fancy machines spending lots of tax dollars on hot oil sand and stuff from a third party over here, or second party, however you wanna put it. And they're buying all this stuff and they're putting Band-Aids on the road. They're not fixing them. And that's when I was in there, I went to that route. And,
We've got 2 minutes left
Oh,
for our
yeah.
next speaker.
well, I just wanted to say one more thing. When I went out of office, all this equipment that was bought to do this was sold.
Yeah.
That was $15,000 worth of rock sitting down there on that yard, on precinct 4 yard, for chip sealing, and as far as I know, it's still sitting right down there with the grass growing on it, because he sold all the equipment to go to this other way of doing things. And there was a distributor truck out there, and a lot of y'all may not know what all this is, but it's what sprays the oil down the roads when they put the rock on, when they chip seal. That same truck can be used for numerous things, and one of them is during the wintertime, when the winter's coming on, you can spray these roads and seal them off, where the water can't get them and deteriorate. And all this was thrown away because they didn't want me in there. The problem is when these county commissioners get in there, they set up their house, and they don't want to be nobody spoiling the way they think. And I had the option to go either way. Go ahead.
I have a question back there.
So, here's my,
Last one, 1 minute.
I got 1 minute, I'm gonna do it 15 seconds. I've been to the commissioners who told me to go to the constables, who told me to go to the sheriffs, who told me to go somewhere else, and this has been going on for 3 years, and I've never gotten an answer because everybody passes the buck.
Yes.
Is there anybody that oversees the commissioners, or can they do no wrong unless the judge gets involved and says they do wrong? But if the judge is blind, there is no oversight with the county commissioners. Is that true?
The voters.
Yeah, but
Like they,
You're the only.
that's right, the people. But when I was in there and working, I went before the DA twice. One time because I had a truck parked on private property, which I had permission to do, but the man wouldn't step up when he hit the newspaper on, some people's favorite word, disgruntled employee that I fired. And they come out and took my picture, the news did, and I mean, they hammered me in there.
And I went before the DA and it got rough, you know.
Other than the voters, and I understand the voters, but we have kind of a silent voice because it's hard for us to get any action when you got lazy public officials who determine to pass the buck. So there is no oversight over the county commissioners. Is that accurate?
I think it is.
Sir, is it lazy or is it the good old boy system where they're all together and they're not letting any outsider like him come in and do what's right?
Or both, or both.
When I was in there, I kept a ledger of every dime I spent every year. And if anybody come out there and wanted to look, there it was, I could lay it out. And the biggest thing, I'm not for, I'll be like, give my time with blank. Well, what it is, that down in Gilmer, Mount Pleasant, and some of these county grounds, they've got an engineer that's over all their roads, and the commissioners have they have no authority over the roads no more. And I'm not for that, but I think these commissioners, we work for you. And I think that when we do things, that we are to be going in here and what's cost effective and good for this county, you know, and watch that kind of stuff. But we've got commissioners, these commissioners, they don't wanna work together because they're scared. It's a unit system, one thing. They're scared we're gonna go to a unit system. Franklin County's got,
I'm sorry, I'll wait till you.
I
I was just holding it in advance.
they're a smaller county, Wood County, but them four commissioners, they chip seal over there. And they work together, they prepare roads all year long, and it's chip seal time, they all get in there and work together. This outfit here, they don't wanna work together. And that's where the more transparency should be coming in.
I want to make a statement to Mr. Shirley, since you are running for a county commissioner. On November 26th of 2024, our judges and the 4 county commissioners voted for the rules of decorum for the Wood County Commissioners Court. And there are 5 pages of rules that if you want to go and you want to speak, that various different things that you have to do. Now, what I did was I pulled those 5 pages that they voted on, and then I compared them to the sample template that the general counsel put out for all the commissioners' courts in the 254 counties. The problem that I have with what our commissioners' court and Judge White did was they changed some of the various things, and you're able to do this. The problem is, the very thing that they changed is our rights to redress our governments. And how it currently states it in the rules is that these rules prohibit public criticism of the Commissioners Court, including criticism of any act, omission, policy, procedure, program, or service. Now, that's not us going in there and cussing these people out. This is them telling us we do not have a right to come in and say, you've done something wrong, or we don't like how you're doing that. So what I would say to you is, if and when you are elected and you win your election, I, along with most people in this county, go, hey, we need to really revisit the rules of freedom of speech on what we should be able to say to you guys. And I hope you'll take a look at that later on.
I will.
So, thank you.
Okay. This is a footnote real fast, and if we can, we need to get a hold of the Texas Attorney General and have them look at the rules that they decided for this county and see if they're in alliance with the current laws.
Thank you.
And
Texas Association of
I'll get out of the way.
Well, Texas Association of Counties is pretty woke.
I think if 10 people with each precinct would come to the commissioner's courts, you would see a change in attitude and a change the way they're thinking. Because they're scared. I'm telling you, they're scared. When you walk in, they say, "Who is that? What's going on?"
Where do they have the commissioner's court?
Right here.
In this library?
No, in the courthouse.
Okay, I can't, and y'all all talk at the same time. I can't hear.
Second floor of the courthouse, up the stairs,
and it says Commissioners Court at 10 a.m.
Almost across.
On the
Okay,
left
and then
side,
when?
Every other Tuesday, 9
starting
a.m.
at 9 a.m.
And be prompt.
Every other Tuesday?
Look on the website.
Twice a month, you're saying?
It's on the website.
Is it, okay, it's on the website?
It's
No,
every other Tuesday,
It's-
and it could be 3 Tuesdays in a row in that month. It's every other
Occasionally-
Tuesday.
And occasionally it'll change for some special
Christmas.
situation or
Correct.
whatever, most of the time. it's
Every
not.
2 weeks, go to mywoodcounty.com, go to the Commissioners Court and scroll till you find agenda. And then you'll be able, it'll tell you when the meetings are going to be and what's on the agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. John, do you remember me, Sarah Bailey, Kenneth Bailey's daughter? Gary and Shirley? And on the school bus? Yes, yeah, I've known John. And then, and Gary was the best concrete person known. He did our house, all kinds of.
He was there. Got my son's there. He said, he was the latest, but I was the greatest.
And then you got Liz.
Next, we have Sarah Bailey King for District Attorney.
Thank y'all for coming out today. It's like earlier I was over at, Kiwanis, and, they had a chili cook-off going on. And there's,
Yeah, give you 3 minutes to open and then.
and then it was that.
Then I was that.
But anyway, it's a nice day as compared to a week ago. And I saw a young man, he had on a fishing cap, and he said, yes, that's what I like to be doing, and he said, my wife loved me. But anyway, I'm Sarah Bailey King, and I'm running for Wood County District Attorney, which I find this one of the greatest counties. This county raised me. I mostly grew up in Winsboro. My dad and my parents decided, because some of those schools were really, really, really big, that coming to this type of county and the size of school of Winsboro would be a good fit for me when I was 8. And anyhow, I want your vote, and I want to make justice a reality. I know there's going to be a lot of questions, and I know that I've had some time to think about it. It was kind of a last minute thing. I appreciated Ms. Waitman and the elections administrator getting me in when they did. But I did some thinking, and I decided with some things that have gone on, I've made no bones about it. People have asked. Yes, I've had dealt with cancer, but I'm in remission. Praise God. I'm guided by, I'm not always that religious, but I got to looking at some things, and I'm guided by faith, not by sight. And if you were to come in my office, and that's been that way, it wasn't something that all of a sudden you can ask folks that have come in there. I've got these blocks that have faith, and every time I go to court, my daddy gave me a bracelet, and I kept piecing it together. I'm gonna be wearing something on me that has faith. I just do. And so, I actually have more experience. I'm not a career prosecutor, okay? But being a career prosecutor, you've got to have some experience of doing other things. Okay, and besides being the district attorney, there are some counties, I know that we are in Rains County, where it's combined. She's also the county attorney, okay? And so, you are charged with giving advice to the various departments in the commissioner's court. You're also, if there's something that comes up to do that. And so you have that situation, and you represent the Department of Family and Protective Services. Okay,
You're good.
all right,
Finish when you get your questions.
finish when I get it, so. Questions?
Do you have some GA questions?
Does anybody?
How do you plan to handle cases involving a fatal use of force by police officers?
Fatal use of force by police officers, okay? Sometimes fatal force, the Supreme Court, of the United States, there's excessive force, when excessive force can be used. And it has to be when there's some type of necessary, like there's been shooting, a crime, a rape, not shoplifting, that type of stuff, but excessive force. And could you clarify exactly what is meant by that? I mean, is this in an arrest or?
This is a question somebody had turned in. How
Okay.
do you plan to handle cases involving a fatal use of
Fatal
force
use of
by
force.
police officers?
Well, it's gonna have to be investigated, and right off the bat, Texas Rangers is gonna come in. That's an automatic. And so, and then if Texas Rangers, it's gonna kinda go up the chain. And if that takes, feds coming in. But that's what's gonna have to be determined, because sometimes, that force may be necessary. That's why body cams and, need to be worn at all times. That's what needs to be happening. So that's how that's gonna be handled,
Thank you.
okay?
But if the Texas Rangers or the feds say that the case needs to go forward, as district attorney, you would have to take that case forward. You couldn't just walk away from it.
That's correct. But it might involve, depending, well, there's some other factors. It have to be looked at. And it might involve having either, a prosecutor from another county or, the attorney general. There could be other factors. That's why it had to be looked at. Texas Rangers would have to,
I understand that, but if it's presented to you, you're committed to prosecute the case as delivered.
correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Janae, do you have a question? Do you have a question? No. Toss up your hand.
I have a question. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
My question pertains to what you spoke to in your opening about the district attorney being responsible for prosecutions, but you also said that they are the county attorney. That has not always been that way.
It has for,
Ever since they wanted to strip that and then move it into the DA's office when Lucy was the judge. So
I've got to correct.
we had, okay, because it was
It's
my.
been that way since, I know, since Marcus Taylor, and it was becoming that way with Belfer Pascal prior to that, but it has been that way. Marcus Taylor was the district attorney and the county attorney. Jim Wheeler was the district attorney and county attorney. Yes, it has been
There
that way.
was a part-time attorney that oversaw county contracts and stuff.
Well, that would have been an assistant DA, only if there was some sort of conflict. I'm not really,
Is that not a conflict of interest?
what,
Because
If
the,
there are,
di-
if
the
there's a
di-
difference between overseeing contracts and
and that's what I'm talking about, the overseeing of the contracts. Why is that in the district attorney's office?
they're not overseeing it. They're they advise, like the information, like if here's a contract to look at, okay, of doing that. That's what they're advising as county attorney. Am I making sense? Somehow I think there's,
You're making sense, but what I'm hearing in commissioner's court isn't like that.
what are you hearing?
I'm hearing that they're bringing in the district attorney to tell the commissioners about the contract, whether it's acceptable or not for them to be voting on it.
No, that's not what she or whoever in that office is doing. That's gonna be, that's, she's in an advisory position. She doesn't say She just says, she shouldn't be the one to be telling the commissioners to do that. Is that what's occurred?
Well, you go to, Patty, you go to
It
commissioners court.
certainly looks that way. I go to almost every commissioner's
Yes,
court meeting. And so many times the DA herself is there or one of her attorneys. And of course, they have to have executive session when they're considering possible litigation or discussing something else. And it sure comes across as, we are advising you to do X. In other words, we're not gonna move forward until we hear from the DA's office about this particular contract. And that, it just doesn't smell right.
No, it
It
doesn't.
may be okay, but it doesn't smell right.
No, it doesn't.
So that's why we have questions. Because it does look like a conflict of interest if you have things for the county that are at issue versus the criminal district attorney dealing with matters. Now, I don't understand enough about what responsibilities the DA has towards the county in county matters, so maybe that's a
So,
fine.
okay, I'm gonna just kind of make it, like, I'm thinking of, because, the state of Texas, which is y'all, agree, clients, okay? And what I'm talking about is that there's some type of contract that they're reading over the terms of the contract to make sure they're understanding it. That's what I'm talking about. Whether it's a good deal or not, that's up to the commissioners. Because I have clients that come in and say, they're purchasing real estate, right? And they're wanting to, and they'll say, is this a good contract? And I'll say, okay, well, or they'll try, this is something, they'll try to tell me over the phone or just talking. I was like, I need to look at it. I've got to look at it. And I may have to take about an hour, and I may say, I'm gonna have to have, $350, $400, whatever, and let me look at this. And then, but you tell me, now, let's scan, don't mark on it, oh Lord, but don't mark on it. But highlight the area, the verbiage you are having questions about, okay? And so then I explain that to them. And oftentimes, it's like you go to the doctor, now they're all on the computer and stuff, and so are we attorneys. Like, that they're thinking, I think they'd have the little physician's book, right? And then what they would prescribe is a medicine, or I think I'm gonna do this. So that's what she should be doing. Not telling them, that's up to them. Like, here's the terms of the contract. Because oftentimes those contracts, they're in this legalese and stuff that people don't understand. Okay?
People that aren't in the executive session can only surmise. They can't state for certain how things happen.
Well, why is she in the executive session?
Anybody can be invited by the commissioner's court.
Right, but I'm saying that the general public, if they're not in the executive session,
They don't know.
And I think what he is saying is the crux of the problem. The general public they're not being transparent with us, and it brings up all these suppositions and questions.
and people make decisions
Because-
based upon suppositions, because I told you and you told her, and the old telephone thing
Well,
again,
what I'm
where there's
seeing,
no reality to what's being said.
listening to Mr. Shirley previously, what I'm seeing is there's some commissioner court things that are going on, okay?
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is, and I will say, of course, we've got digital print, but newspapers used to say, here's the bidders that made bids. I'm thinking, cause my daddy was a printer, and offset printing, and oftentimes the highest bid might not be the best, the lowest bid might not be the best, it may be in the middle, okay? So that's what needs to be transparent, is who are the bidders, right? I'm not seeing that anymore. You just see, this is who we're going with, right? So but that's kind of a commissioner's court thing, but is is the DA or slash county attorney telling them that this
I
is
have
who you go
never-
with?
Never heard her say, you guys need to adopt this contract or
Okay.
not approve this. She never does give direct advice. The question arises with, what on this agenda item is the DA present for? Unless there's an executive session that involves litigation issues, and then I can understand why
Right,
the presence would
that's
be
what the
there.
presence would be for.
But sometimes there is no executive session, there is no matter in the executive session part.
And
It
Mr.
raises
Body is
questions.
there,
Okay.
and Mr. Body is still there.
Mr. Body?
He is there and he is answering and advising them.
Well, he's answering and advising for Ms. Alpers too.
Anyways, we've kind of muddied the waters.
No, it's okay. Those are good questions at the top. And that's, but that's where I think I'm a little confused, and I apologize.
My question is quick and it's born out of ignorance again. I know Angela's record a bit. What advantage do you bring to the table concerning that position over Ms. Alpers?
That I have litigated a lot more than her. Okay? To my knowledge, she's never void dired a felony level jury on her own, ever. Okay? And of any kind of jury. Okay? And so I am constantly litigating. I know that there were times that when she was doing misdemeanors, that there were some misdemeanors that she didn't do. And we attorneys, oftentimes, we know the rules of criminal procedure, rules of civil procedure, rules of evidence. But there's areas that sometimes we may not know that area. Say it's a hunting license violation type of thing. Well, you bring yourself up to speed to learn that. But I know there were certain ones that she avoided often.
Which means the sentence could be given incorrectly or crooked or not quite what it should have been.
Correct.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Or
Thank you.
pursuing a case that didn't need to be pursued. Yes.
Thank you.
I just have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Final question. What university and what law school did you go to?
University of Tulsa, the University of Tulsa, which I have to say, it was actually, one of the first with the computer, research and stuff.
Was that university or law school?
Undergrad, I went to the University of Texas at Tyler. I went to Paris Junior College, Eastfield College, which I have more junior college hours than anybody. My daddy taught. And I actually went to. I got certified. Let's see. I majored in physical education. One of the last to get physical education, which would be exercise physiology at the University of Texas at Tyler, which I had mixed emotions when it expanded because you had to be starting your junior year, which by that time, everybody's kind of called out. I don't know, those of y'all that have gone to sometimes freshmen act a little silly, you know. But anyway, and then I minored in English, and I'm all level physical education, all level special education, which helps out with getting to help people, particularly looking at some incompetence and things that are going on. And so, Trinity Valley, and I'm 12 hours short of my master's degree from the University of Texas at Tyler. It was my husband that conned me into coming and running his office. And then
University of Tulsa School of Law.
That's where I went to law school. And I enjoyed it.
Oh, we're done.
I just want to say my wife currently goes to the University of Tulsa, and they have a really great law school. It's top of the line. So,
Will you be here afterwards so people can talk with you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes,
Perfect. Thank you so much.
We got a birthday party.
Thank you so much. Okay, now we have Matthew Prather for County Treasurer.
Thank you.
Again, my name's Matthew Prather, running for Wood County Treasurer. I'm a husband, father of two boys I'm very proud of, and I really believe, I believe that public trust matters, especially when it comes to handling your tax dollars and money. The county treasurer role isn't about politics or setting policy, it's about accuracy, accountability, and transparency. When the job is done well, it's intentionally quiet. When it's not, people notice very quickly, because even small financial mistakes can lead to bigger problems for taxpayers. My background has been consistently involved in working with numbers, responsibility, and accountability. I spent years handling budgets, bookkeeping, payroll, overseeing financial processes, and making sure information is accurate and clearly explained so people can understand it. In every role I've had, I've understood that when you're trusted with finances, carelessness is not an option. I also learned that strong systems matter, clear procedures, proper controls, regular reconciliation are what prevent problems before they ever start. Good stewardship isn't flashy, it's disciplined, consistent, and dependable. Every dollar that the county has belongs to the taxpayer. And it should be treated that way. While treasurer doesn't make policy decisions, the person in that row does make judgment calls every day. I want the voters to know exactly what guides my judgment. I believe taxpayers deserve transparency before money moves, clear reporting, honest disclosure, and no quiet surprises. My responsibility as treasurer would be to safeguard county funds, keep records accurate and reconciled, and make sure financial issues are addressed openly and clearly. I'm running for county treasurer because I believe Wood County deserves a steady professional stewardship of its funds. It means doing the work carefully, following established procedures, and operating transparently so that the public can have confidence in how its tax money is spent. If elected, my goal is very simple. County finances are managed accurately, reports are clear, taxpayers never have to worry about how their money is spent. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
Thank you so much. We have a couple questions here for you. Commissioners Court of Wood County buries treasurer report under consent agenda, which means no discussion. Oftentimes, it is stated, no report available. What are your thoughts on this lack of transparency at the local level? Only way to view report is to go see the county clerk office and request to see it.
Transparency, first of all, starts with making information clear and accessible. And it should be, it's your money. You shouldn't have to search to find your money. It should be clearly communicated what the budget is, what's going on that particular month, and those types of things.
How will you do that?
We'll do the best I can. We've heard some different things, but I will make sure it's easy and I transparently communicate exactly what is being done with your taxpayer money.
Thank you. And I feel like you've said this, you already have, but
Sure.
will you restate your top 3 goals for this office?
Accuracy, accountability, and transparency.
Any other questions?
So, you being in the top position concerning county treasurer, if the information's not flowing, does that go back on you, or sometimes it's the other people that say they don't want to put it forth because it shows their error in what they're doing with the money?
Good.
I'm asking.
Are you asking why transparency is not happening, kind of?
Why would somebody, after you've done fully your job, not put it forth as
Well, the
transparent?
county treasurer serves underneath the commissioner's court, and they carry out.
That,
the commissioner's.
okay, that answers something. Another sad way of looking at it. I'm sorry, I'm not very pro.
I have one more here. Why do you think you are more qualified for this position than your opponent?
The county's treasurer role is about transparency, accuracy. And so I think voters should choose who they trust the most to be transparent, to handle their funds, and who's going to be transparent with the vote of taxpayers. And so why do I think I'm more accountable? My background myself is I've done bookkeeping, payroll. I've served the public, and it's required me to manage finances. It's required me to follow procedures, to be accountable at different levels. And I take that responsibility very seriously. And ultimately, the office works best when it's handled quietly, carefully, and correctly.
Could someone restate how Carrie got into the current position, since she's not the incumbent?
You mean the?
She's just running for the office. She's not in office.
Who's
Yeah,
the current,
yeah,
who's
the
the
current
current treasurer?
treasurer.
I should have started with that. Current treasurer is Daphne, and she is retiring from this position.
Ah, okay,
Sir, Carrie was the budget officer in Smith County
okay,
up
Thank you.
until the last, and you can see several news reports regarding that office.
okay, thanks.
Yes. Question?
No,
Okay.
I just hold my phone up in the
Okay.
air. She's recording.
So, in knowing that Carrie came from a different county, are you from this county?
I was raised in Rains County. I was with the church in Wood County. I recently moved back 3 years ago, but I did grow up here.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Next, Win Sellers, would you please come up and share on Rachel Poe for State Board of Education?
It's not right.
Okay, for those of you who weren't listening before, I'm Win Sellers, I'm with the Indianapolis Independent School Board trustee, and I was asked to appear here today on behalf of our coalition. She's got another event. She's got a 6-point plan that I'm gonna basically brief you with, and I'll be able to explain some things I can't because I'm not her, but I do have her cards here, and you're welcome to contact her directly to get the correct answer. And, matter of fact, I spoke for her last night in Upshur County, and there were about 6 people that took cards to, call her in front of about questions and issues that had been raised, with not her plan. Anyway, so to get down to her 6-point plan, she wants to strengthen support systems for students. Texas must invest in intervention programs that actually close learning gaps, not mask them. We need data-driven tier 1, 2, and 3 systems that ensure students each grade level mastery before moving forward and setting other goals. We need to meet those basic skill masteries. Second, respect, support, and retain good teachers. Teachers are not the problem, they're essential to the solution. Texas must reduce mandates and empower educators with time, training, and resources to support student success. Third, set academic expectations that make sense. Texas Essentials Knowledge and Skills Program must reflect what is best for Texas children. The State Board of Education must ensure curriculum alignment and adopt mastery-based approaches so raising the bar lifts all students, not just those that are already ahead. Fourth, expand trades, career and technical education, and JROTC opportunities. Texas thrives on skilled workers, welders, electricians, plumbers, mechanics, ag technicians, healthcare workers, and our schools must expand career and technical education programs and pathways so students can graduate with certifications and employable skills. Strong OTC programs must remain available to students seeking leadership and service opportunities. We noticed here recently, for example, that Sulphur Springs has already adapted a master program with one community college of commerce so as to get discounts and mastery of programs across all levels to educate plumbers, electricians, and agricultural workers. Fifth, we must elevate local voices over politics. Schools should be safe, challenging places where teachers feel respected and parents have a voice. Rachel will work to ensure the local community and educator perspectives from the State Board of Education decision-making process. Six, we must create a future every Texas child deserves. Every Texas child, urban, rural, or suburban, deserves a real pathway to success, whether that means college, workforce, trades, or military service. This plan strengthens schools and supports teachers and creates opportunities for every child. We unfortunately have been mandated so much from big government, National Board of Education, which doesn't educate people, local educates people. We need to get back to the basics, and that's basically why I'm here to represent Rachel to you, because you need to be aware that that's what she's trying to do, is represent from that level. She's done everything from being a teacher to being a principal and everything in between, and so she thinks she knows and understands the process and how we can accomplish those goals with our taxpayer dollars. So I thank you for the opportunity to speak here today, and her program basically is about parental rights and back to basics, curriculum, and Texas First values. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have one question here. For, please comment on Rachel Hogue's statement that the Bible does not belong in the public schools, but in the home.
Okay, so there's been a recent law passed where we have to accept the Bible in the public schools. Almost all of the smaller school districts are reviewing that process to exempt themselves from the law. I can't speak on it directly, but I can speak on it vaguely, only because what's happened is the law made several expectations, such as a facility, a room, a sponsor, a teacher / administrator for such an endeavor to take place. The problem with that is that you're then segregating the process of free speech and open access to prayer. We don't have the capabilities to provide a space for everyone that wants that space and a supervisor. We just don't have the staffing for it, period. It wasn't allocated with the funds, it wasn't mandated with the funds or anything else, so there is a problem with providing that. It's not that we're not for Christian beliefs or having the room and the access for Christian beliefs, it's that the way the law mandated it, again, a very poorly written law. And so you're seeing schools, you read the local papers, you'll see where they've already declared exemptions from a couple of local school boards, and a couple of them are pushing it down the road till they're trying to figure out what everyone's gonna do. So that's the best overview I can give you of where that question comes from and why the people are fighting against it. It's not Christianity, it's that, okay, so are you gonna have room for Islam, for example? And so I agree completely with the comment that was made earlier, and in fact, I actually made the exact statement to another group that we're gonna see that go all the way to the Supreme Court eventually, hopefully, because it's the only way we're gonna get Sharia law out of anything, because it's a political ideology, it's not a religion. Yes, ma'am.
Do you happen to have the House bill or Senate bill number that all of that?
No, I don't, and the one that they're most concerned about is this, do you have it back there? The most one that is concerned about is the Senate bill, but I'm sorry, I don't know.
Is it SB 11?
Well, SB 11 is one of them. I'm not sure if that's the one that mandated the access in the room and the supervision.
So,
because there were about 200 bills that affected education. I just don't know all of
so I
them.
was wondering for clarification, does this legislation mandate that there has to be a room provided, there has to be, and all of those things? It's not simply just having the Bible available on a teacher's desk or in the teacher's bookshelf.
Right.
The Bible available for kids in the government schools.
Right, and the reasoning behind that was basically not to discriminate against certain people, and also not to make them feel uncomfortable about practicing their religion, because they don't, well, because it's built into the law, actually, and that's where the problem is. So I know exactly why it was written the way it was written. The problem is, again, they don't set up the vehicle to implement it.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
And that helps.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe that President Trump appointed a Secretary of Defense whose job was to delete her own job.
The Secretary of Education.
So that has happened.
No, it has not happened.
So the state of Texas still has to deal with the federal government.
Correct. So what is being done on a day-by-day basis, to the best of my ability to explain this, is we're dismantling the Department of Education. To force it down to the states directly. And from there, it would be implemented directly. It's technically happens, but there's strings to everything. Just like there's strings to a drug enforcement program. You have to do this for so many hours. We gotta buy so many T-shirts. We gotta make you feel comfortable about the training. We don't need federal mandates to get local education. We don't need federal mandates to teach reading, writing, and math. We need to be teaching and spending our money where our resources need to be. We're way behind. We were behind before COVID. We're further behind now. It's a really big problem. And so we're failing not just the kids, but we're failing the parents, and we're failing society as a result of it. We push people out with nursing programs, law degrees, everything, because we had to push them out of the system. It's just not fair.
I have a follow-up to
Yeah,
this.
sure.
Does Ms. Hogue, because of what you just said,
Mhm.
is there a butting of heads between public school and Christian school or homeschoolers or anything? Or are they working together? I know I'm probably ruffling your feathers.
Okay, so
SBOE doesn't have anything to do with homeschooling.
Right. So let me basically, from a 50,000 foot point, tell you what happened. To make everybody happy, between public schools, private schools, between school choice and non-school choice, public education, we paid off both sides with your tax dollars, because you're so damn generous. So we spent $9 billion here and $2 billion here to throw it out on the table so that everybody's happy and everybody's happy. Oh, y'all are happy, right? All the education rose and improved, didn't it?
Nope.
No, it didn't. So, but that's exactly what happened. They bought both sides out.
It is time for our next speaker.
Okay,
Are you available afterwards?
I'm
for
available
people to talk
afterwards,
with you?
and I've got Rachel's card here. If any of you wanna call her directly, she'd be more than glad to talk to you. Again, she's sorry that she can't be everywhere, but it's a big territory to cover. And I'm real glad to be here on her behalf and on anyone else's behalf to explain, because we're here to educate and, hopefully excite y'all to go vote. And you do all the investigation you want to see who you need to represent you, that you need to be represented, so that's why I'm here trying to help inform you. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rhonda, did you? Yes, Rhonda.
Actually, I was gonna comment on what you were talking about, the law that we have as far as getting the Bible in school. Most people know I have a 15-year-old daughter, and we recently changed school districts. So now I have a child in Hawkins as well as a child in Harmonia ISD. And the one thing that Precious was very gung-ho about was Harmony ISD, before this law came into effect, already has a Bible study class that the kids can join. If you want to be a part of, you sign up with this teacher, and they do lessons and everything via Zoom. So they're already implementing and doing Bible work with them, not in a physical classroom, but it's still available. It's not pushed upon the kids. And if you want to participate, you do it in your lunch break or you do it after school. And I think really and truly, I've always said, and I've talked to their superintendent, I think they're a role model to try to weave in what we're wanting as parents and voters, as well as the law that they're trying to get in without stepping on the toes of everyone else. So I thought it was neat.
And to paraphrase the law without actually reciting it, what's actually mandated upon us now for your child to be in a program, any program, Just Club, Spanish Club, anything, Charlie Kirk, Turning Point Club, and it requires a sponsor from the school, a teacher, coach, an administrator, and parental
consent.
That's real important, because then you don't have to worry about your kids learning transgender education or whatnot in some special classroom. So in fact, we're back to parental involvement, which should be mandated. It is mandated by the law. So thank you for the comment.
Thank you. So please remember to get your straw poll form over here, your ballot to fill out and turn in. Also, there's cards and pens over here if you have any questions. And turn them up here, you don't have to put your name on it. Finally, we have Jerry Parker for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 3.
I don't know about you folks, but I get sleepy when I listen to a lot of politicians. My name is, and thank the club for having this forum. These forums are real good in a way that you can tell who is the oldest and who is the ugliest. And I'm just disappointed that those candidates, especially those that are running for these local offices, did not show. Yeah. I'm running for re-election to this office, and I based it on 3 different things. First of all, my education. I have a bachelor's degree in government and sociology. I have numerous training hours in those agencies that I have worked for. I've served in voluntary services. I have served on the Wood County Industrial Commission, which my wife and I served for 10 years. We were instrumental in getting the hotel motel tax passed. And this year they have over $160,000 to bring in tourists and support these ventures that different organizations put on. I also have been involved in the local communities that I've served, in the volunteer departments, also in the civic clubs, also as I was a Wood County delegate in 1991 to the Texas Republican State Convention. I have employments. I've been self-employed in different businesses. I work for the Louisiana Department of Criminal Justice at the state penitentiary at Angola, and there I was involved in numerous classification and disciplinary orders. Also, I was involved with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in the parole division as a supervisor for 28 years, where I was involved in numerous revocation hearings. My family, my wife, 58 years, just turned 58 years. I have 3 children, 11 grandchildren, 10 great-grandchildren. And we stopped having the great-grandchildren when we bought the TV sets and watch it now. I have a 44-year resident of Wood County. I'm served as a chairman on the Economic Development Commission, and I served as president and vice president of the Harmony Independent School District. And I've got other things, but I'm sure y'all tired of hearing.
Usually we let the candidate be away from the timekeeper, but timekeeper is out of battery, so I'm going to encroach on the candidate a little. Can we switch over here, sir?
Okay.
We're going to put the timekeeper right with us, so we can see what we're doing while we're doing it.
Okay.
I'm going to plug this in here. We're going to give you 2 minutes per question, and then you'll hear that goofy sound.
Okay. Questions?
Ready?
Yes, I have, why do you think you are more qualified for this position than your opponent?
Well, it's my time in office. I've been in this office since April of 2014 up to the present time. I've been to numerous training classes, and my qualifications, as I mentioned before.
Thank you. are religious faiths that proclaim destruction of all other faiths entitled to freedom of religion under our Constitution.
Well, what is the question?
Are religious faiths that proclaim destruction of all other faiths entitled to freedom of religion under our Constitution?
Well, the Constitution, and people say, that, we should not separate the church and the state. Horse feathers. If you read the Constitution, our forefathers did this. And when they wrote the Constitution, they incorporated all those things that we believe to be true. And, as far as being protected by the Constitution, I want a strict Constitution, and I'll explain it this way. I believe that from the moment a person is conceived, they are protected by this Constitution.
Thank you. I'll have one here explain how pro-Constitution you are. I think you just did that. And another explain how pro-life you are. I think you just covered that one too. Where do you stand on ownership of Texas land by enemies of the U.S.?
Well, it's, like one other speaker said, it's crazy. Why are we letting these people come into our country and buy our property when they vow to kill us? I don't understand that. Those that are in power, those people that we elect in the federal system, we need to make sure that they understand that we don't want those people here.
Do you know who is spraying our skies and why? Do you know the impact of the spraying?
I'm sorry?
Chemtrails. Spraying chemicals in the sky, like Bill Gates has talked about, he's gonna spray aluminum, I think it was, to reflect the sun, stop global warming.
You
Crazy stuff.
have to have good research on that to see what is killing us. Ding dongs and Twinkies are killing me. You have to have good research. It's like, are you gonna get vaccinated? Well, when I was coming up, we had to get vaccinated to go to school for the measles, because you didn't go to school. And if we hadn't got vaccinated, how many people got killed, died from the would have died?
Thank you so much. Again, what are your thoughts on the mosques being built in Texas counties with no Muslim residents, marking the territory? Is there any legal remedy? Can one be put in place?
Yeah, the only thing I know would be vigilantes. They're protected by our Constitution.
And that's my church.
Thank you.
I think it's, no, it's a statement.
I'm sorry?
And I was gonna say, if I'm not, if, I think I'm correct on this, you served on the, Veterans Memorial in Hawkins.
No, ma'am, I didn't do that.
Oh, I just heard you speak out there several times.
But let me say this, when, we just moved into our new courthouse, and, we're gonna have a, dedication on March the 24th. I hope y'all can come. And let me ask this, is there anybody in here that can vote in precinct 3 besides my wife and daughter? Yes, got one hand up. Three. Yes.
Are you having chili at the open house? See, she does noodles. I know you cook. Yeah.
Actually, I've heard about gumbo.
Yeah.
She makes the best red beans and rice.
Is that what it is? So we're having chili and red beans and rice on what day did you say, Judge?
Maybe some banana pudding.
I'm sorry, what did you say? I missed it.
March 24th.
March 24th.
What time?
Good thing,
Is it all Friday?
Thank you.
It could be.
I have word to see Wiseman was able to make it, so would you like to come up and share with us, please? Thank you.
Well, Judge, I showed up. Judge and I get along very well. I work for the Wood County Sheriff's Department, and we work pretty close together. But I am running against him. And I'm running for the Wood County Justice of the Peace Precinct 3 because my entire life has been dedicated to service, responsibility, and upholding the law with fairness and respect. Every step of my career has prepared me to serve this community in a way that is steady, experienced, and grounded in real world situations. My 7 years, 7 months of service in the United States Army, where I earned the rank of sergeant and deployed to the Gulf War, taught me leadership, discipline, respect, attention to detail, and the ability to perform under pressure. Those lessons shaped my character and my commitment to doing what is right, even in difficult situations. For the past 23 years, I have served as a peace officer, achieving a Master Peace Officer License certification through continuous knowledge of local, state, and federal law. That experience has given me a deep understanding of how the justice system affects individuals, families, and the community as a whole. It has shaped me into someone who values fairness, consistency, and accountability. I am running for Justice of the Peace because I want to continue serving the people of Wood County with the same dedication I have shown throughout my career. I will bring fairness, responsiveness, and transparency to every case, ensuring that every person is treated with respect and every decision is made with care. This community deserves a justice of the peace who listens, who understands, who serves with integrity, and I am ready to take on that responsibility for Precinct 3.
Why do you think you are more qualified for this position than your opponent?
Well, I've got real world experience in law enforcement. I have over 8,700 hours of training through the military and law enforcement. And quite frankly, I think Judge Parker is a very, very good person, and he's steady in his position. I'm not here to throw mud at anybody. I think we both have that possibility of being a good Precinct 3 judge.
A religious faith that proclaims destruction of all other faiths, entitled to freedom of religion under our Constitution.
Can you say that one more time?
Are religious faiths that proclaim destruction of all other faiths, entitled to freedom of religion under our Constitution.
Well, they are protected by the Constitution, but I don't agree with the fact that they can exist and instruct other religions upon anybody. I think religion is the freedom of religion for all people.
Explain how pro-life you are.
Well, I believe once a person is conceived, you're here for life.
Mosques are being built in Texas counties with no Muslim residents, marking their territory. Is there any legal remedy? Can one be put in place?
On the legal remedy side of it, I think, in reality, I think everybody has the right to build what they need to build for themselves. But as far as the mosque is concerned, with no attendees, I think that's wrong. They're not proving their worth and need for their religion, which is not really a religion.
What is your stand on ownership of Texas lands by enemies of the United States?
They need to move out.
And do you know who is spraying our skies and why? And do you know the impact of spraying?
Yeah. Look at the camp down in South Texas that happened. That's the result of messing with Mother Nature.
I got a question for you, Wiesen Hunt. because I live in precinct 3, and as a youth leader, I've been in Judge Parker's court before with parents who have been sent there from the ISD for truancy. What is your particular feeling on, hypothetic, say you have a parent and they now are in your court because their child has missed all these days of school. The way the law reads is it falls upon that parent. If the parent cannot get their teen to go to school, how do you police? How do you punish? What would your answer be to help the situation that is brewing? Because now this parent has had to take off work and come to court behind their child who they cannot get on a school bus, and it could or could not turn into a fight-in or an argument, which is a whole other thing. What do you see as a resolution for cases of such nature that you perhaps would come across like that?
I've never had to deal with truancy.
Right.
But my partake on that is education is very important with anybody, whether it's going to be the parent or the child. So the best option, I would think, would be to sit down and be able to discuss a resolution upon not only the child, but with the parents as well, and come up with some type of educational benefit that will benefit the whole situation as a whole, and be able to maybe through education in the courts with the family and therapy, maybe even therapy, that we can get that child to understand that education is of the utmost importance.
Okay.
I looked at him in the back, he raised his hand first.
Looking at all the fight politically and otherwise with the cannabis situation coming in and being liberalized or being absolutely against the law, I look at it as a gateway drug, and there's a whole explanation behind that. But what is your thinking about is cannabis all right? All these cannabis stores are just opening a door. So what is your take on that, sir?
My take on cannabis is it's becoming more prominent throughout other states that they're legalizing cannabis. Can it be a source of income for states? I don't think so. I think the federal government it'll be just like cigarettes. They will hold that and actually take the taxes and everything and use under the federal government versus it helping anything within the state. It's kind of like the lottery. Where do we see the lottery benefits from the lottery in our schools? Do we really see that? When 5% of the lottery is supposed to go towards schools, education? So it is a natural plant-based item that is consumable. Do I find it a good alternative for people to go ahead and smoke and get high? It's gonna be harder to regulate that like alcoholism is. It's gonna be a whole lot different ballgame when you start legalizing that within our state. And it's gonna cause issues with employment, education, and everything else.
Well, and we already have plenty of history with states like Colorado, where they have legalized it and has brought such a downfall, such an influx of the cartels into Colorado. It's just incredibly negative, and that's where we fail when we don't see the wickedness of the seed of pot, the seed of drugs. It's so, not trying to answer my own question, sir, I apologize.
I had 3 questions. Number 1, are you registered to vote? Number 2, what was the last election you voted in?
That'd be president.
Okay. Number 3, would you please share your faith background, your faith journey, whatever you want to share that with me?
As I said, I've been in law enforcement 23 years. So me personally going to the church, affiliated with the church, my work schedule is just all over the board. It has been for my entire career, my entire working career, from Army to policing. It's not an excuse, but I am Catholic, so, but I don't regularly go to church. That answers your question.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So, one time Wood County was a dry county, is that correct? And did we ever sell wine as an agricultural product or authorize the sale of wine as an agricultural product?
I cannot answer. I don't know that.
Okay.
It was common that you could make your own, but it was not for retail sale at Brookshires until after the Dry County law disappeared, is what my memory says, but that's about 10 years ago.
So where I was going with that is, could you sell marijuana as an Texas agricultural product?
Did
Or-
did have hemp law about 2012.
I was gonna say, it's actually, marijuana in Texas is not legally grown, hemp is legally grown.
Okay, thank you.
And the problem that a neighboring state, Oklahoma, had was when they went with medical marijuana most recently, they ended up with more dispensaries in Oklahoma in a short period of time, like a year, than the entire state of California had.
Wow.
And the majority of them were owned by, drum roll, China. And federal authorities attempted to do audits of some of them, and armed guards met them at the fence, and they were not allowed on the premises.
Sure.
But the medical marijuana that's grown now has been synthetically processed and is 10 times more powerful than what was available in the 70s.
I have a leading question for you. Have you ever had a hypothetical question about truancy and you wondered if the person asking the question was the parent that was involved in it?
Thanks, Jim.
He knows my daughter.
Yeah, that's
To add to Jim's comments, I will tell you from a local school board perspective, we are trying to address more truancy issues now, through the procedures. And so thank you for serving and having to educate those matters, because if we can't make it, if the parent can't make it apparent to the child that it's critical to their own well-being to attend school, the courts have to step in and make sure. And that, sometimes it's just a process. Just like with any child, it's a process. So it hopefully, you've got people in here that are representing you, they're doing a good job of trying, if nothing else, to scare the hell out of the kids, because it's a point of no return if not.
So are you saying that this court and the schools are working together to solve for a child's problem?
Yes, yes.
Well, and he's right.
And we're forced to, for several reasons. The basic one is, I know this is horrible from the government point of view, the money. Because the schools chase the money, and without the kid there, well, we've already got the staff for the kid, but then he's not there. So I don't know if you've looked at any of the truancy rates in some of these other districts, like in the major metropolitan areas. It's outrageous. We're paying for teachers to be there, and the seats are empty. And then they lose their funding because.
But the child's welfare is ensuring the welfare of the state.
Right, but he has to be there.
He has to.
He has to be there.
Well, what some parents are doing, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you go, what some parents are doing, they are letting their kid just run rampant and say, okay, I don't wanna deal with you.
Right.
Judge Parker, you said if I don't have this child in school, then I go to jail for 24 hours. Guess what? Now I'm going to deregister you out of school. Now we just gave a high school dropout because a parent will not teach a child that everybody has to comply with the rules somewhere.
They changed districts.
There you go,
Yeah.
or they change
Yeah.
districts.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of that. I know a lot of things that go through my personal court there, so something's gotta give.
This is just a thought, because as a mom, I have 4 children. My 3 oldest were all, admitted to major universities. My oldest is a nuclear physicist. And they all, they didn't fit into the public school system, okay? I have a very demanding career. And so, we chose a route of an online public school. And, that fit more of, they offer more. So I feel like where this is going, like, we're recognizing an issue, and it's a hard, right now, there's no right answer. It's a hard, the system's broken, we all agree. And Trump is saying we're going to completely dissolve this system. So maybe food for thought for all of us that care and that can be involved moving forward is to say, where does this fit in? Your sweet daughter maybe doesn't love that regimen of being there and learning about a history situation. Maybe she likes to do hair or fix something or go and be a CNA. And so it's not
one size fits all.
Just like I have friends, I have friends that are not of this country, okay? And say for instance in Germany, you can pick your route as you become an early teen that you want to become. There's so much need for trade, and there's absolutely so honorable, like the things that keep us moving are those tradesmen. And then those higher education for research, that might be, you have the university route, you have a trade route, you have an ability. And I hope that as we rebuild it, we'll look at some of those other things that are working that are not here under this very broken. I mean, what do I know? I just know I've muddled through it with my children.
Yes.
And there's really no good right answer other than maybe seeing your personal, like try to find your root cause as to why. Does your daughter like to stay up all night? Mine does. So she'll read till 4 a.m. And that's why she doesn't go to school. She'd hate it going at 7 a.m. So she gets up when she wants to at 10:30, and she's straight A, top tier.
That's great.
You know, and it works for her.
Yeah.
So
You
I'm
guys
just
call that
gonna
summer
say,
school. My son got multiple college scholarships, and my daughter got a college scholarship at 14 for her speech and debate skills. So there are other options.
Absolutely.
But it definitely isn't like it was when Judge Parker and I were in school, where it was mandated from this time to this time you go to school. These kids today, they have so much technology that's available to them that they have the availability to do that stuff online. And we as parents think we need to stick to the way we grew up, but we have to be able to adapt to the way these kids are growing up in today's society. And if we don't do that, are we really helping our kids, or are we failing our kids?
Since we're making comments, I'd just like to make a comment. They took a lot of stuff out of the public schools. They took woodworking, home ec, junior high and elementary music. They still have high school music. They took voice lessons out of school. And so I feel like a lot of those students don't have enough opportunities to even know what they like, to even know what they're good at.
Well, but they do, and the bigger the school, the more opportunities they have. We still have cooking, we still have ag, we still have welding, and there's still multiple opportunities. And of course, we're also doing enormous procedures with all the continuing education where they get college hours in high school now. So both for trades, electricians, whatnot, the bigger schools have more programs.
Some do, and I'm speaking from the school that I taught school in Garland, and all those things were missing.
Yeah.
But beware of the Soviet model of education.
Yeah.
Finally, I have something from Tyler Turrentine, who's also running for Justice of the Peace Precinct 3. Today is his daughter's birthday, so he couldn't be here, but he wanted you to know that he is 41 years old, and he's been a Wood County resident for 30 years. He attended Hawkins ISD for middle school and high school. He graduated from HHS in 2003. In 2002, he received the rank of Eagle Scout from Troop 391 in Hawkins. After high school, he attended Tyler Junior College, where he received a degree in criminal justice. He married his wife Sarah in 2006 and has 3 daughters. He's been in the electrical construction business since college, and for the last 5 years has successfully run his own electrical company. He has served on the board of directors at Timberland Baptist Church in Lindale, as well as serving as deacon at First Baptist Church in Hawkins. He currently serves as a school board member at Hawkins ISD, and that is Tyler Turrington for Justice of the Peace Precinct 3. Thank you all for coming, and feel free to stick around and talk to candidates and ask questions and get more information.
And you're gonna take all the ballots and tally them and put them on your website.
Yes, please turn in your straw polls. I have 4 people. I'm supposed to have 4 people that are going to count and tally them up, and when we get it done, we're gonna put it on the website. Perhaps, are we gonna have them done shortly?
It'll take about 30 minutes. If you wanna keep your piece of paper, you should put your email or something on it so that we can send you a blank.
Or
you can just
trade
sign
me
around
and I'll
for a
give
few
you a
minutes.
blank one.
Our treasurer on it, she'll give you a blank so you can mark your sheet or copy, because you can actually go into the polling location with that piece of paper.
Yes.
Yes, it's a straw poll is the collective thought of the day. So living in the precinct is not a requirement for checking.
My name is Sharon. I am a co-founder of the County.
Oh, you're Sarah. Yes, ma'am.
Anyone need a
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what, it's okay. But that, because I have a youth group, I'm an advocate for a bunch of other children. And I see just progress sometimes a lot, but that is a common thing. In our house, Mom.
She's involved real
That's not the case.
If any of you have neighbors or friends that would like one of these sample ballots to educate them, feel free to grab one from somebody on my block walk this morning. And I can tell you that most people are real appreciative to see the ballot ahead of time, so they had a chance to do their own investigation and see what they wanted to vote for. You can go online to the Webb County site and see the ballot.
Yeah, that's what it said.
It's supposed to be last week.
Yeah, 1, 2, 2.
Okay, that I've got, that is in the Mineola Civic Center. That is gonna be Tuesday, and it's gonna be the judge.